Roosevelt Watkins here. Thank you so very much for taking this time out to view us each Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. with Hope Organization Grassroots Chicago Speak. We're delighted that you took the time to tune in wherever you may be to another episode, another show, as we continue to talk about Grassroots Chicago Speak, topics that affects our community. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number as we talk about another topic that you definitely want to get in on. Let me tell you a little bit about Hope Organization. As always, Hope Organization is the organization, one organization in two locations, and we provide assistance with the gas and light bill, which the program has officially ended. But those of you that have recertification and are on PIP, you can come in and get your applications recertified. That's a continual payment on your light and gas bill. Also, we have an after-school program. Those of you that are looking for an after-school program, we have one of the best after-school programs in the city of Chicago. Matter of fact, those of you, as we go into the summer months, are looking for a summer camp. We have one of the best summer camps in the city of Chicago, and you definitely want to get your child involved in our summer camp. We'll give a shout out to the Safe Haven program as well as to the other programs, DFSS and CPS, for their support and partnership. Those of you that need assistance as it relates to technology, we have a free technology program where we're providing free technology skills training. So those of you that need some training, you want to become computer literate, want to learn how to navigate on the internet, we have programs available for you as well. Also, we want to remind you to, if you're driving, to always buckle your seatbelts. Don't forget to click it or ticket. If you don't click it, you'll definitely get a ticket. And don't drink and drive. We want to encourage you, don't drink and drive. Hope Organization also is having a HIV testing that's going to take place on tomorrow, which is June... What's tomorrow? June 6th?
June 6th.
June 6th, tomorrow, June 6th, Friday. You almost forgot what tomorrow is.
Well, I was just going to ask you, if you drink, you just stay on the sideline.
Okay. Stay on the sideline. If you
don't drink and drive.
Don't drink and drive, right.
Very clear.
Okay, yeah. Make sure. And so those of you that would like free STI or STD testing, they call it STIs now, HIV testing is available tomorrow at Hope Organization, 9231 South Cottage Grove. Matter of fact, inside of Bethlehem Star Church, 9231 South Cottage Grove. I'm delighted tonight to have a special guest. He's no stranger to the city of Chicago. A matter of fact, he's no stranger to our show. He's been on before, and he was such an outstanding guest. We asked for an encore for him to return. He is the proud pastor of Greater St. John Church, Holiness Bible Church, and he's on the west side, the Great West Side. He is also the chairman of the
Leaders Network.
I want to make sure I had the chairman part correct. Is it correct?
I carry the chairman's briefcase. I'm the co-chairman.
Okay, you carry the chairman briefcase. Gotcha. He is a strong advocate for education reform, education, and violence in the city of Chicago. I'm delighted tonight to introduce to some and present to others our special guest tonight, Pastor Ira J. Ackery. We're delighted to have you with the Grassroots Chicago Speaks.
It's a pleasure to be here with you, Pastor Watkins. I really appreciate all of the work that you're doing in the city, and at Pastors United for Change and all on the South Side. You guys are doing a great job. Bethlehem Star, you are blessed to have a fabulous leader, and I'm glad that I'm a friend of his.
Yes, sir. We're delighted to have you. Listen, we got another hot topic tonight that we're going to deal with as we continue to look as the temperature are rising in the city of Chicago. It's getting hotter. Summer is right around the corner, and what we've been witnessing, unfortunately, as the temperature rises, the number of violence and homicide in Chicago has been rising. We've seen a teacher who was recently killed, innocent bystander who was at work, and gunshot erupt, and she was shot and killed, unfortunately. We had a young lady who also was leaving a anti-gun violence or anti-violence fundraiser, and when she returned home, she was killed as well. On the south side, we hear about in a laundromat where 7 people were shot inside of a laundromat violence in our city is out of control. Recently in the paper, we read where in the Sun Time a couple of days ago, where the Sun Time article says that our elected officials, our aldermen, are mums about the violence in the community, as if to say our aldermen don't know what to do about the violence in Chicago. And so, Pastor Ackery, we wanted to talk to you tonight and just hear your thoughts, your comments, your concern. I know a few community for the faith of action, is it called, or
I don't know what it was called, but I certainly participated because anytime people want to have prayer in the community, you can count me in. I'm an advocate of prayer. I'm a faith walker. I know what the Bible says. Men should always pray and not faint. But I also know that faith without works is dead. And I'm really just outraged at the commentary by many of our aldermen. It is egregious. It is frustrating. It is very sad that we have leadership representing our community without any answers. Even in our communities on the west side and south side, people must rise up and have an insult level. There is no way on the north side aldermen could have made that statement. We have no solutions we can offer for problems. There's no way. We have to have an insult level. In fact, the alderman in my ward, I'm very upset, more so with her comments than any of them, because she said people ought to do something for themselves. That's fine. Now, what are you going to do? What you got to offer a solution? And I believe if a person is an elected official, the last thing we need is for them to keep on making moral appeals. That's fine. If they want us to keep praying, if that's all they got, then maybe they should be taken out of office and let them run prayer vigils and prayer meetings and prayer marches. Have more time for it. You know, they've got to do something. They got to be creative. They must have a plan. They must have vision. But what the problem is, so many of our leaders have been put there by Madigan or Daley initially. And so, unlike other communities, very seldom do we have leaders that emerge from grassroots selection.
Grassroots? Okay. All right. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. Roosevelt Watkins with our special guest, Pastor Ira J. Ackery from the West Side. As you can hear, he's on fire tonight as he talks about some of the concerns that we have in our city, in particular with the violence that's taking place in the city. Who do we hold accountable as it relates to the violence that's taking place in our city? Mayor Rahm Emanuel stated, according to the Sun Times, that he's proposing new regulation for gun shops in Chicago, meaning that there's not enough tough laws on the books for the violence or to stop the gun flow in the city. Do you think that we have enough gun laws, and are they tough enough?
Certainly, I think the mayor is right on point with that. But we can have new gun laws, and we can pray, and still have tragedies and violence and casualties occurring in our communities. We must attack the problem, because we can have gun laws and stand people on corners for 2 or 3 hours on Friday evenings, but if you don't address what's really causing many of these problems in our community, is our good friend, guy from your old alma mater, always says most of these people that are engaged in crime-related, violence-related issues, most of their stuff is rooted because of a violence, because of a financial issue, and
Economics.
Economic condition, right. And we've got to deal with that. You know, we got to put some resources behind poverty. We got to put some resource behind job creation. We got to put some resources behind crumbling infrastructures. We got to put some resources behind these struggling schools. We got to support fragmented families. We cannot just put Band-Aids on sores, because that will not make the storm go away. You know, it's just putting a Band-Aid on a wound. and the storm may subside. But if you don't get to the root of it, next time it won't be a rainstorm. You're going to have an earthquake.
Roosevelt Watkins with Ira J. Ackery with Grassroots Chicago Speak. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. Pastor, we have a caller that's on the line. Caller, are you there? And what's your name?
Yes, Reverend Watkins, this is Miss Griffin calling.
Hey.
I agree with you and the Reverend who was early. We're going to take back our community. And when the Reverend over there from the west side, when you talk about the aldermen, hey, I got 2 aldermen I'm dealing with because I work with the 6th district. Okay, and my beat covers the 8th ward along with the 21st ward.
Right.
And I tell you, I'll stand up against either one of them. And I'm not running for a bus or a train, but it's pathetic. It is really pathetic.
Yes, ma'am.
They don't have no initiative to come and make a difference. Well, we're going to take back our city, and we're going to make a difference in the community. And also, I'm going to be talking to Reverend Watkins because I'm a member of a Lutheran church. We're going to do a march out here on the 21st. That's on a Saturday, Reverend Watkins.
Okay.
And we're going to do from 95th Street, wherever there are people that need some help and know that help is on its way. And we're going to work with the parents, not just these kids, but the parents, because you can't continue to help the kids without helping the parents.
Right.
And thank you very much.
All right.
Keep up that good work.
Thank you, ma'am. We're going to have you on the show. We appreciate that. And we'll have her on perhaps the 19th if that'll work for you. And so you have people in the community who's involved, like Miss Griffin, who's very involved in the community. And so what's your thoughts about the people in the community and their level of involvement?
People like Miss Griffin need to be applauded because we need everybody. We need all hands on deck. We need families to be engaged. We need politicians who are trustworthy, who care, who have innovative visions for the demographics that they serve. We need pastors to come outside of the 4 walls. We need police to have better community relations. So we need all hands on deck. That's bottom line. So we need everybody.
Okay, 312-738-1060. Roosevelt Watkins with Ira Ackery tonight as we talk about the violence as it continues to escalate. What can be done? We got another caller that's on the line. Caller, are you there and what's your name?
Yeah, hi, how you guys doing? It's Tyrone.
Tyrone, how are you?
Yeah, hi. I just want to know if Rick Ross was going to fuck Slick Rick. Y'all suck.
All right, we appreciate that, Tyrone. What did they say about Tyrone? Tyrone?
I don't know, but this is such serious business, so we don't even want to waste much time with that guy. I'm sure some other people really are passionate about some solutions tonight, so.
Erykah Badu was the one.
Yeah.
You better get your and go home. All right. So we got to move on with that. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. As we deal with the gun violence here in the city of Chicago, we have several groups that are marching across the city of Chicago. I know on Saturday, this coming Saturday, you have the Greeks, the sororities and the fraternities who will be meeting up at 7:30 a.m. and they'll be meeting at Chicago State University on 95th by King Drive, and they'll be marching down King Drive. The march will kick off about 9 o'clock a.m. So those individuals who are interested in participating with the Greeks, the fraternity and sorority, we encourage you to meet at 7:30 a.m. You can register there, and 9 o'clock is the kickoff for that event. There's some things that you guys are doing on the West Side and with Leader Network. So what are some of the things that you guys are doing?
Well, last month was a very, very effective meeting. One thing I hate to do, I hate to meet just to meet, but every second Tuesday of the month, the Leaders Network meets at 5701 West Jackson Boulevard at the Columbus Park Refectory. And we had a unification meeting, and we decided that we're going to be dealing with 3 things. There are a whole lot of other things that we fight for. Health care and education reform and other things, but 3 things that we're going to focus on this summer, and that is leadership development, economic empowerment, excellence in education. And we're excited because we want to develop our own leaders. That's why we're in the position that we're in now. Poor leadership, sometimes poor prophetic leadership in the pulpit, but certainly poor political leadership, because we had the Madigans and back in the day, the Dailies picking our leaders. And so we're going to open the door. At first, many people were saying, why are you letting people come to speak at your organization? But this Tuesday, we're going to let Amara, the young lady Amara, come and speak at our organization. As a young 31-year-old that's running for mayor, we're going to give her an opportunity.
Okay.
We're going to give her an opportunity. Willie Wilson's going to be there talking about economic empowerment. And Dwayne Truss, another advocate who's been fighting the battle for the union and for equitable funding in schools and other battles like that. It's going to be a great meeting. And the bottom line, we got to take the bull by the horns and take responsibility for our own destinies. We can no longer wait for anybody else to rescue us. We've got to be on top of our own game.
312-738-1060 is the call-in number. We have another caller that's on the line. Caller, are you there? And what's your name?
Hey, this is Rusty. You guys
Okay, just need you to screen that. And so if it's our friend Tyrone, who sounds like he's been drinking a little bit, make sure that we send him to another station. All right, so Reverend Ackley,
probably the aldermen probably got mad with me, and so they having somebody call in at night. That's all right.
That's Reverend Ackley saying that, and so we want to make sure that as we continue to focus on issues as it relates to our community. Just recently, Art Turner, we want to congratulate him, state rep, who had a bill passed as it relates to expungement, saying that any youth who commits a crime, juvenile crime, and is arrested can have his records expunged by 18. What's your thoughts?
I think that's a big deal. Very excited about it. We really need to celebrate him. We need to get together and celebrate him. Our group's coming together because we got so many do-nothing politicians, and here's somebody that's doing something that makes a difference. And it makes a difference because right now the police department is it lacks diversity, rather, and a lot of the people in our community can't apply because they have felons on their background, and so they never can apply for good jobs for the city.
Right.
And so now this gives these young people an opportunity to have viable options when they become adults. Everybody's not going to be a college graduate. Come on. Everybody's not going to have a master's degree. But we have some people who could have a difference. Thank you, Art Turner.
Yeah, so when you look at expungement, there will be an expungement summit taking place this Saturday, June 7th, at Living Word Christian Center, 7600 West Roosevelt in Forest Park. Registration begins at 8:30 a.m. and doors will close at 6 p.m. So those individuals that would like to get their records expunged, this is for adults and juvenile, have to commend the Honorable Dorothy Brown, who was always on top of having a summit, expungement summit every year for ex-offenders and job information seminar that's available. And so we ask that those of you that are interested in participating with that and you need more information, call 312-603-5200 to get more information. Free legal advice is available there as well. And so we ask that you will take advantage of that. Again, we want to commend State Rep Art Turner. He'll be here next week, and for all of the outstanding work. What a bill to get passed, because we want to see our young people get another opportunity, a second chance in life, because once they get a felony on their record, it seems as if it follows them for the rest of their life. It affects their credit score, housing, employment, their future, and so we want to commend them on that. We want to also take this opportunity, as you talk about the Leader Network, to talk about Pastors United for Change. Just want to give a shameless plug for that June 12th. We'll be having our monthly meeting also on the south side. So while you're meeting Tuesday on the west side, we'll meet Thursday on the south side. We are working hand in hand collectively, and we'll have Alderman Willie Cochran, who will share with us those pastors and churches that have not had their opportunity of filling out the application for a water exemption. We'll have individuals there that day to make sure that you get that information, paperwork completed, the application completed, so that you can have your church water exempted. Any other things that you guys are doing that you want to share?
No, I'm just very excited about this piece with Art Turner. It's giving some golden opportunity to some young people. It's giving them a second chance, and this is a real big deal. It's a real big deal. So I appreciate you giving them a shout out. We want to make sure we have them on at our organization's meeting next month.
Okay. All right. And so, yeah, we want to make sure that we continue to work in that effort.
I do want to say this. I mentioned this to you that we can't wait on anyone else to save us. We can't wait on Pharaoh to liberate us. You know, and we have started at my church and on the West Side something called the Economic Empowerment Movement. And at our church, we tried it in the past, but we just couldn't get it going properly. But we're trying to teach African Americans how to support one another. You know, Ukrainians support each other. Asians support each other. The fact of the matter, the Asian dollar circulates 9 times within its community before it leaves. The Hispanic dollar circulates 6 times before it leaves. And white ethnics, their dollar circulates unlimited times before it leaves. But in the African American community, it circulates only 0 to 1 time. And we have $1 trillion worth of buying power. And unfortunately, we spend that money as consumers and we never support one another. So we have an economic empowerment ministry that we've launched at our church, and we're teaching people how to support each other. At advertising First Sundays, the businesses in that church, and then we are having a business of the month. And we are trying to take this throughout the West Side, ultimately citywide, right. Wherein we would get some new habits of supporting one another. We have to do that because nobody's going to give us anything. We already have centuries to back that premise up.
So part of the problem is that we're not supporting one another.
Absolutely.
That's what you're saying. So
Absolutely.
we're not circulating the dollars in our community.
That's right.
And we're not doing what we need to do to make sure that our community remains viable.
That's right. And this is my goal, to get 100 churches to do that.
Okay. So what brought that about? I mean, that's a powerful concept, but why did you feel that there was a need for that?
Well, people who are on the economic platform making the speech, they're making sense. They're making sense. And then I read, you got Mark Allen. He's been saying this for years. Then you have, on the West Side, you have Malcolm Crawford. But then there's...
Don't forget Webb Evans.
Evans.
Who's been saying it for...
Louis Farrakhan.
Absolutely.
If you keep on doing the same thing over and over and expect something different to happen, you are insane. Let me put it that way.
Yeah, that's the definition of insanity.
Absolutely.
Right. All right, we got some callers that's on the line. 312-738-1060 is the call-in number. Roosevelt Watkins here with my good friend, Pastor Ira Ackery. We'll take a caller. Caller, are you there? What's your name? Hello, caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know you were talking to me. I'm
right.
looking at you guys on TV.
Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to know that with everything going on in the African American community, why is it that we're not organizing to the point of re-educating and educating our people to the political structure, to what a foreign policy is, a domestic policy, and why aren't we a little bit coming out the box and being more, I'm just looking for these diplomatic words, being diplomatic. Well, we need to come out the box and use some new initiatives.
Okay.
Guns are not going to go away.
Right.
Ignorance is not going to go away. And it seems like we're the only race that, maybe I'm making a general statement here, that continues to support a political structure that doesn't have our best interest.
That's a good point you're making. We appreciate your call. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely.
What's your thoughts on that?
I agree with you 110%. That's why many people are with this governor's race have jumped ship from the Democratic Party to the Republican Party. Stephen Thurston is supporting the Republican candidate for governor. James T. Meeks supporting the Republican candidate for governor. Others who have not come out to make an endorsement but are having their meetings with the other party. And the thing about it, we've got to do something different because so many years the Democratic Party has taken us for granted, and the Republicans have written us off. And we've got to be at the table for both parties. We've got to do something different. Gays talk to both parties. Hispanics talk to both parties. Asian talk to both parties. Every other interest group talks to both parties. Why do black people are only able to talk to one party? It doesn't make any sense, and it has not helped us. We're at the bottom of almost every significant issue in the country.
Listen, we're out of time, but we're definitely not out of information. All the callers who are still holding, we apologize that we couldn't get to you tonight, but we'll definitely get to you next week. I'm Roosevelt Watkins here. One of the things that we can do, Pastor Ira Ackery, is we can register people to vote. We'll be registering people to vote this Saturday at Bethlehem Star Church at 10 o'clock a.m., 9231 South Cottage Grove. We're out of time, but we're not out of information. We appreciate you calling. We'll get you next week. Thank you so very much, Pastor, for sharing with us. We'll see you next time.